And continuously break and destroy and be deceitful and break other people as well until you can't be broken no more into. And then there's no resource of building you back up. You're just broken. You think about that specific equation and how some people never come back from that. Have you ever taken a chance to know yourself or try to get to know yourself when you can have a reboot to rebuild and repurpose who you are and what you are to continue on to forge on your quest to, yeah, development. Let's get to the next what moment. Oh, why be evil? As I told you, some people like to take people with them in their quests of hell. Don't you understand heaven and hell is right here? Of hell. Don't you understand heaven and hell is right here on earth and it exists in your mind? Yeah, some people love to experience heaven on earth on the backs of other people, and some people build it mentally. And they're able to express it physically in order to create peace as they see it physically. But that's not built, or is it built, or sometimes is everything built on the backs of other people? That's an equation we all have to think about. What is built on the backs of other people? What equations? How are they made up? How are they even, you know, how does it even succumb? Well, it's how we participate, operate, and exchange with each other. That's how it happens. Yeah, just like that. So when you exchange, operate, collaborate, exchange, operate, collaborate over and over again, you set up businesses, you set up places of luxury and places of shopping and places of eating, and you set up these societies as far as how we function, fellowship, and commune. And we find each other with having likenesses and certain things that we appreciate with one another that is sometimes appealing and sometimes you see certain things out in people that you like and some things that you don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's you have to be very attentive at all times of the surroundings that you have with people, who you are around, and how they can, have an opinion on your life. You may not even know it. Yeah. That's what I call bullshit. That's the next what moment. How can you judge a person or, relate to a person if you have never really tried to relate, but it's all on a manipulative basis, a manipulative way of communicating and operating and even exchanging again, because you had a game plan to do what? Distort, disturb, destroy, or to be deceitful. All of which are some equations that are some people meet their fates because you play with fire. But someone has to get burned. That's how that works. Because it's all bullshit when you break shit that you can't fix. Um, check out this country. Yeah, we got a president that break a whole lot of shit he can't fix. He just breaks shit, walk away from it, and then lies and act as if it's just the greatest shit in the world. Like, oh my gosh, this dude. I mean, the type of specifics that he, like I told you, lies. Didn't I tell you lies all to the world? I told you. You can just. Some people are in the position and the power to make up shit and just say it as if it's true. It's called propaganda, and now it's a lot of, a lot of what black people have told the world, black Americans, even with the Iranians. Iranians are saying what? Oh, we're not concerned with the black Americans. We like the black Americans. I mean, you even see protests. What happened? They got a mural of George Floyd, and they have. I saw this on YouTube today of how the world do see us as a beacon eye and a beacon principle of what? Morality. What we stand for. Only thing that we ever have stand for is wanting to be treated fair, wanted to be treated, valiantly as we are, but we have been portrayed and, you know, uh, perpetrated upon. People have created narratives and tried to come over here and literally displace and replace us. So as soon as we decide to delineate and reorchestrate our paths, we start to delineate and become the beings that we actually are with extremely disassociating, not an extreme way, but in a very pivotal way that we say, hey, listen, listen, listen. We're done with being your tool. We're done with being your orchestration. We're done with being we're done having pity parties ourselves. When you understand our grandparents, great grandparents, and our parents told us, hey baby, you gotta work twice as hard. When you go out there, you gotta get out there and get it. You gotta be better. We actually did those things. That's why we were the most successful the first time. We didn't have to redo it. And a lot of times we had to even be successful in getting degrees and actually pivoting into other fields that suited our interests differently when we got degrees. We are the most creative, improvising, adapting, and overcoming people. That's why when I was in the Marine Corps, it was pretty easy for me to even a practice as a Marine because I had done those things and I've seen those things orchestrated within my family before the shit, before I was even to understand what they were doing. That's how strong those elements of survival were. Being able to do that over and over again. You know, when you get to see success at a very young age, and your people are associated with it, and how they were able to be successful, and how they were able to pivot forward, and they was even to share stories at the dinner table and say things like, "Hey, this is what I learned. This is how they operate." And then, as a little black kid like us, we was a little black kid that we was around the corner from the hall when we heard the adults talking about, "Hey, man, when you do this, you know what I'm saying?" Or we'll have equations like, "Hey, let me tell you what Mr. Johnny did today." Hey, what Mr. Johnny do? Hey, man, Mr. Johnny was talking about how they was gonna downsize. Then why the hell they talking about downsizing? Hey, they got new machinery coming in, man. So when they got that new machinery coming in, those that don't understand how to learn the press, or those that don't understand how to learn the mathematics of how to get those certain specific cuts, then those that can't do that, the people that are just taking it off the rack, they gonna get that to go. The machine gonna do that job. What? Mr. Johnny say that apparatus coming in? Hell yeah, man. That shit coming. That shit's going down, man. So a lot of people that didn't pass those exams, or didn't get to that next level, hey man, that machine coming in to take your job. Oh shit. So you see how these, now that was 40 years ago. Here we come around again with AI. So AI is what? The new companion. the companion for everyone, as well as you. So nobody ever told you in this day and age you can't take advantage of how AI can serve you and make you some money. So think about how these equations do come about. Because if you can understand that AI is a companion in the business as well as you, or if you see yourself as a business, you can see these things as companions as well. So the same way a business has built themselves into a human or an artificial being. Okay, let's hold on. Let's get to this. I got some. Yeah, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. See how this is? The UCC connection. How to free yourself from legal tyranny. Okay. Many of you have heard of these little pamphlets right here. I got all three of them. Oh, then we got common law handbook for juries, sheriffs, and bailiffs and justices. These are very handy little books of how you can fix the shit that you break in your life. And this is also meet your straw man and whatever you want to know. This is how businesses are built. They have straw mans. They become actual entities that function just like a being. And guess what? The entities that run them, they can treat them as disposable. They can treat them as money pits. They can treat them as funnels. They can treat them as how they want. As long as that being is making money, they can let it just let it stay alive. Which is what they do with all beings and creatures. They create them in order to fund themselves, and the apparatus that was actually supposed to help people is just has a heartbeat because of what's being extracted out of it. That money is not being pushed back into the business and the people to make it prosper and make it grow. Most of the time, it's just an extraction situation. Let's get to the next what moment. Okay. You have to give it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. This is for real here, man. You have to give it up to the truth. For real. You have to give it up to the truth of how things actually do operate. When you get into reading how these books actually make sense, and what and for what purposes is dealing with the police. Let's take dealing with the police. Okay. This is one thing as young black men that we gotta understand. Okay. Young black man, I'm older, but I'm quite well learned. So let's just dealing with the police. All right. Years ago, a policeman was your friend, defender. Things have changed now that police forces have been commercial organizations dedicated to producing a profit by taking money from you in the form of speeding fines, parking fines, and any number of other charges. It was stated on national TV recently that in the last 13 years, 3,000 additional offenses have been invented. Invented. As each individual police force is a commercial company, in a way like McDonald's restaurant and strategy, it has no authority to enforce anything or more than a McDonald's has. The men and women who work under the banner of their local police force have two separate roles. When they take up their occupation, they take an oath of office pledging to uphold the law. The other oath and nothing else gives them the authority to act and enforce common law. That is a few things which are listed near the start of a legislation section above. It does not authorize them to do anything connected with so-called government status, so that they have been trained to use legislation to entrap members of the police force that are not aware of what they are doing and do not understand the difference between legal status, which are operational, and the lawful common law requires, which apply to everyone and are not optional. Please do not get me wrong, most police and police women do a great job of assisting members of the public and often above and beyond the requirements of their job, opposing bullying, intimidating, fraud, etc., confronting the cases of bereavement or injury. Admittedly, the commercial companies who control the police forces are working hard to end the sort of positive behavior using ridiculous health and safety regulations as an excuse, even to the extent that police officers are instructed to stand by and watch somebody drown and not attempt to save them. This is not the choice of an officer, but the instructions of the owners of the company. Does that make sense to what's going on today, ladies and gentlemen? Ice people. Okay, because these thousands of invented offenses do not apply to anybody unless they agree to be bound by them. It becomes essential for the police officer to possibly inadvertently persuade a member of the public to agree to subject himself to these unnecessary restrictions and agree to pay invented cash penalties to the local commercial companies called police force. The normal first attempt to establish the spurious dominance of the police officer is by him asking for your name. This is not an innocent question. And it is essentially that you are carefully, you say that there are legalese, booby traps all over the place. Booby traps. So if you don't understand the circumstances or situations that you are putting yourself into haphazardly, understand they are booby traps. And they are ways for you to ridicule yourself into capitulating yourself into ways that you can be taken advantage of. This is why you always think about your circumstances and your situations simply because you can even capitulate yourself. But the only way you can do that is when the law either works for you or doesn't work for you. But in some ways, the law is not even adequate to working for some people. As we see, and we are living in today's times, and right now, we see that the laws are not only even inapplicable, but they're not even halfway adjudicated at all, depending on who you are, what you look like, and what position you hold. This is not what the people of America has ever signed up for. But due to the fact that you've hid these type of behaviors for certain people for so long, they're doing it in the open. But they're still behaving and responding. And even the president is acting as if what he's saying is accurate and truthful, when in all actuality, it is a habitual rhetorical statement of lies that's on repeat on a continuum. That's all we hear. That's all we hear. Rhetorical, repetitive constructions of lies. It's like they come on repeat with different subjects, different subject matters, new situations, same lies. Damn. That's cold blooded. But anyway, let's get to the next moment. That alludes us to saying some shit is just ridiculous. Yeah, this world that they have let us down, thankful to the world, thankful to the internet. We're very, very grateful for being able to at least have the apparatus for now. Shit. To exchange and let us know that we ain't got nothing to do with a lot of this bullshit that's going on right now. Not Black Americans. Thank you, said people at Iran for saying, you know what, we cool with y'all, pimp. We good. There's see that's a the thing is you have to understand one thing about Black Americans. We have been able to learn and also been subjected to a multitude of different religions, uh, spiritual systems, apparatuses, people coming here talking about what they so I mean a lot of us we take a chance to learn a lot of these things. And it's a good thing that when you learn, the source of things, vice, thinking that everybody has the same story of good, evil, love, hate, good, evil. Um, that's really the world: love, hate, good, and evil, and everything in between. So, if you think about what's good, how would you know what good is if you didn't know what bad was? You have to choose. At some point in life, you have to choose what serves you specifically. You know, some people don't understand the absolute value of development, especially of oneself, one's character, one's nature, one's respect, one's ability to communicate and be civilized with other beings and actually exchange with them. All of these things are so essential to your development as a person that can grow, that can achieve, that can fellowship, be you know, these things are great. But in the meantime, if you don't settle the position that you have with yourself, that's going to lead us to a multitude of conditions because you can end up with the wrong person. You can wind up with the wrong mindset for your future. You can have an epiphany that can literally change your life, and you have been wrestling with not bettering yourself, but literally hindering yourself. So you have to be careful with the decisions that you make because when you participate in development, these things can become very uh these things can become very pivotal, very pivotal in how you orchestrate the rest of your life. So development is extremely important. My brother, my cousin just called in, man. You on the Wheel This podcast there, Timothy. We talking to Light Bulb Lessons. He's calling in, so I don't know if he's surprised, but hey, man, I'm doing a podcast. So you on the Wheel This podcast, my cousin? What's happening with you?
Shoot, I can't call it. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I couldn't avoid your call, so I'll let you go ahead and hijack with me. What's going on? We're talking about you can't, the show tonight is about can you fix the shit you break?
Mm,
And I'm just letting people, most of the time they can't. Most of the time they can't fix the shit they break. They just move on. Or they act like it didn't exist. They try to hide it, cover it up. Shit like that. Childish shit. But people do that shit as adults as well. Even in marriages, friendships, relationships, and on their jobs. It's a whole. It's a. People don't really develop or change when they become adults. They just become better children. or more terrible as they were when they were children. So people develop in a lot of different ways. They, some for good, and some even take their talents into, very mischievous ways of being very articulate in ways of being evil, wicked, or mischievous, taken from others. Some people are just very, very associated with what they like, to say the least. What's your opinion? Since I got you on the horn, what's your opinion there? This is Light Bulb Lessons T.O. Clay, y'all. What's happening?
I mean, you know, I'm listening to you, and it's sort of rhetorical, Danny. Uh, you're saying some people, and that's truth. That is some people, and but there's also some people that is not that. So,
Correct.
and with that being the reality, is like we've been building about for years, man. It's that duality aspect of it. The duality is a higher form, lower form, higher frequency, lower frequency,
Ebb and
positive,
flow.
negative. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I see it as like water, because I look at it from the flip side of it, like how do you deal with those some people? How do you deal with it? How do you add on to that? Like you said, some people, I think about Nas, I know is definitely your favorite MC. The song called Second Childhood.
Yeah.
And we see it a lot within our circumference, within our inner circles of family members. We see it on our jobs. We see it in business. We see it in so many different facets that some people literally are really in their second childhood. And as builders, though, we look at it and we say, okay, there has to be a root to that. And what I find very often is the root a lot of times stems from things that has plagued our culture in particular, melanated people in such a way that it's just like, wow, man, when you really start looking and opening up that aperture of why some of the struggles that we're dealing with, it starts with the internal, man. It starts with, individual internal aspects that people don't want to get to the root of and really deal with, man. So as a leadership coach, man, you know all too well, Danny, a lot of people don't want to get better. It's just that simple, man. Some people don't want to change. Some people are cool with just being cool where they are. But it takes, like we said, the yin and the yang. It takes the yang to identify that in the yin. It takes the yin to identify it in the yang. So, man, great conversation, man. Definitely a great conversation.
Cool. Absolutely. That's how we're doing the Willis podcast. A lot of times we have these different titles, like, can you fix the shit you break? It's like, can you fix the shit you break? It's not a question. It is very rhetorical because some people can and some people can't. But the people that can't, you got to understand the trail of shit you leave behind when you do so. So when you break shit, understand it's still broken. That apparatus still needs to be repaired. That apparatus is still whatever it is, whether it be a piece of technology that some kid, whether they be in Mississippi, whether they be in Alabama, whether they be in India, some part of Somalia, and they got an interest. They got an interest in technology, and they can take that same apparatus that you just gave up on, and they can make something monumental. So, a lot of people throw things away or throw people away because they feel like it doesn't serve them or it doesn't add to them on even the fact that they can just throw it away shows the gluttony, the disrespect, and the utter grotesque nature of some people with plenty.
Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%, man. It's, the old saying, one man's trash could be another man's treasure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure, the listeners out there, wherever you are across the world, I'm sure that went through the mind of a few of you out there. And again, what we see happening just across the space, man, and the environments in which we're operating in, man, it's a lot of learned behavior. Again, it still goes, like I said, man, for what it's worth, still goes back to that internal, still goes back to self.
Absolutely.
Because, I've broke a lot of things in my life, and that's just being real, but the most important is I broke you know, having a knowledge of self, man. And the knowledge of self, a lot of times, is it'll hold you accountable, you know, because we both know, Danny, it's like, man, I think about, you know, one thing I broke was a previous marriage. You know, I was married, you know, as a young fella.
I remember the lady. I remember her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, I broke that. You know, period. Like, I'm not saying she was perfect in all her dealings and ways, nah. But as I began to mature, knowledge of self and understanding, you know, my flaws and looking at them flaws and trying to really personally develop, man, and be humble and vulnerable enough to say, man, you know, what was me? Yo, it's me. You know, I can sit and try to point finger all day, but the reality is, and I can sit here verbatim and calculate bar for bar many of the things that I did to break that woman. You know, she's a woman today. Obviously, she was a young lady when we decided to get married, Danny. But again, man, you live and you learn, and hopefully, the man that she's married to now, I'm sure, I believe she's still married to the same gentleman. But you know, they went on, and he picked up those broken pieces. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He picked up the broken pieces, and that was another reflection that I looked at. Because come on, man, you married to a woman, and years removed, you scrolling on Facebook, and somehow that algorithm pop up, you know, her face along with, you know, her new man, you know, and kids and family and house, and it's like, man, that reflection once again, looking back to the internal. I had to look at that and say, man, you know, we get put the excuse out there and say everything happens for a reason, but the reality is, I was that reason.
Right. You was that. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, I could tell you, even when you know, being a man that was single for quite some time and was able to experience life, you know, to a degree that most men can't, due to the experiences, the relationships, and those type of um those type of privileges that I had, just, you know, living my life being a single person in those type of relationships. I tell you, I've said to myself how many women I married off. You know, I was like, hey, she after the relationship she had with me, she got married. That was on a repetitive thing. That kept happening. It's not because that wasn't the person for me. You know, and I applauded, you know, the fact that those ladies did have the ability to, you know, after being in a relationship, you know, of some magnitude of stature, they was able to move on. So that was a positive role I think I played. I don't see it as a negative thing at all. Even not being married, so to speak.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying on that, man. It's again, it's still, Danny, the yin and the yang, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the universe doesn't lie, bro. We know that.
Absolutely.
You know, that natural reflection, that mirroring per se, man. It's like, you're absolutely correct, man. With you know, staying firm with the topic, what we break. You know, there's also, like I said, the yin to that is some things that we don't break. You know, but
you
the
prepare.
other receiving end,
You can prepare.
Yeah, absolutely. The receiving end is broken because we don't break.
Right.
So that takes it even to a higher elevation.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't break, and now the other person's broken because we don't break. It's like the saying, eagles fly with eagles, man.
Right.
You know, the eagle can sit there and that crow keep pecking on the back of the neck of that eagle over and over and over and over. And the eagle will sit there, you know, standing firm. And then when that eagle take off and start flying, once it gets to that terrific altitude that the crow can't handle anymore, the crow has no choice to either continue to go and keep trying to soar high with that eagle.
He can't do that though.
Or,
He ain't got the.
or it's gonna turn. That's right.
He
It's
ain't
gonna
got
turn.
the. He ain't got the. He doesn't have what you call. He's not equipped. He's a scavenger. He eats meat.
That's right.
Eats. You know what I'm saying. So does the eagle, but the eagle is a totally differently built organism, and his construct is different. His feathers, his talons, you know, his base, his wingspan, all that's completely different from you know, you take a crow, that's a bad motherfucker, but it is a bottom feeder, and an eagle does work for his food.
Lower frequency. It goes back, like I said, right. The higher frequency, lower frequency.
That's right.
We all possess that. You know, Danny, man, I appreciate you allowing me to be on, you know, the Will Is podcast, because the will really is. And we can will ourselves to be eagles. You know what I mean? We are natural eagles.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So, you know, they say Leos, you know, in reference to the lion. You know what I mean? But you got those lions out there that got wings. You know what I mean?
They call falcons. They call falcons. Pure, you know, this is a paraquin. You know what I'm saying? A paraquin falcon. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed, no doubt, man. So it's a mindset, man. You know, again, somebody out there in Ghana, you know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
Liberia, maybe Sudan, you know, out in LA, down in Florida, wherever you are, listen to this, man. Trust me. Danny Willis know what he's talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? And the will is your will has to be your is. You can't become what you already are. And if you want to continue to ascend at your highest velocity, man, your highest frequency, man, I promise you, man, keep tuning in, keep listening. You know, even it's certain things you might not even understand, man. This man that's on this stream helped me to understand knowledge of myself. He opened my eyes. You know what I mean? Always tell him he's my sensei. He's the person that, you know, even when I try to fight it off, like, man, nah, I don't know about that, bro. He kept feeding into me, man. He kept utilizing his will to ensure that my will was understood, and I know who I am or who I be or who I is. You know what I'm saying? So I love you, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Everything happens in universal speed. I just hopped in the car, man, to go down here and pick up this food for the family. And I appreciate you, man. I love you, bro. Keep pushing.
Love you, bro. Hey, y'all, hold on. You check out Light Bulb Lessons. This is T.O. Clay, Light Bulb Lessons. He's it's my brother we was in the Marine Corps with. He got a book too, From Here to There. You know what I'm saying? So you make sure you check him out. It's T.O. Clay, Light Bulb Lessons. Again, this is my brother. We was in the Marine Corps together. That's my family member as well. So, you know, you look out for him, man. Y'all check it out. I got the book From Here to There. You make sure y'all check it out, man. It's a very eloquent story about a young fella that really every piece of life taught him in every aspect, and even with how he's a life coach, he's a leadership coach. So when he describes it, and he's extremely elaborate with these things and the truth that he tells, because it's all truth, but he can lead it with the extreme abstract implementations that will help you bring these stories to life. So very eloquent speaker. And we'll be doing more work together. Yes, indeed. So check it out. T.O. Clay Light Bulb Lessons. Yeah, that's my family. That's my brother. And yeah, man, we will be doing more things together. But I had to have him on when he called in, man. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. Love y'all, man. And keep shining your light out there, man. What is light? Love, intellect, greatness, health, and truth.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Light Bulb Lessons, pimping.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. Love you, man.
Love you, bro. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's my cuz, man. You know, he's been out here. He's a sergeant major. Sergeant major. We was in the Marine Corps together, man. You know, we served in Quantico. Ran the streets a lot. Played a lot. Had a lot of fun. Grew up a lot. Still family. Still building. Still always in the process of living, learning, and being in the process of being able to put ourselves in a position to tell people what it is and what it's supposed to be. So the last whip moment, man, that I wanted to get out to y'all was we've been when it comes to a lot of people's shit that they can't fix, they want to play this role right here. They want to be I'm Bennett, it ain't in it. Motherfucker, you is in it. It would behoove you to extremely pay attention to how you can fix the shit that you break. That should be your main position, orchestration, and actual position in life. To fix you, you can fix anything that you ever position yourself to break because you got to fix yourself to fix what you broke. I hope you really understand that shit. That's the show tonight, but I really need you to understand that. I need you to understand that you can actually fix the shit that you broke, but you have to fix yourself to do it. Yeah. I hope you're listening to what I'm saying. That's the show tonight. I appreciate you for tuning into the Willis Podcast. But you have to really understand that variable. Can you fix the shit you broke? Sure. You just got to keep focusing on the principles of fixing your ass. That's the show tonight. I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Willis Podcast. We appreciate you. We love you. And won't you share, love, subscribe, like, and also go to willispodcast.com. Take a look, check out some merch, purchase what you like. It's going to be revamped. So some things are going to be going away, some things are going to be kept. So you just stay tuned. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow with another show, another exciting show. We're going to keep coming at y'all asses, and we're going to keep putting on for my wonderful subscribers, my great people. I thank you. I appreciate you, and understand that we love you so much here on the Willis Podcast. But it's my favorite part, right? Oh, yeah, you know what it is. The wheel is yours. Be cool. Stay tuned. And you know that. You know what it is. We'll holler at y'all, man. Keep it up. Keep it straight and keep it cool. Peace. All right. When it comes to people, you can't fix the shit you break. First, what moment is most people can't. I mean, think about the shit you break. You break shit like relationships. You break people. You break communication. You break the willingness to understand simply because you overplay or underplay your hand in relationships. Most of the time, you want your way, or you think you carry so much weight that you can just